that the destinies of our people, our cities, and our nations are shaped. History teaches us with clarity. Close to 130 years ago, along this very corridor, the British colonial administration conceived what was then known as the Uganda Railway. Its purpose was to link the Indian Ocean at Mombasa to the interior of East Africa, thereby securing territory, controlling movement, and extracting value from the hinterland of the colonial administration. In this original design, the railway would run inland from Mombasa, pass through Nairobi and the Rift Valley, and terminate in Kisumu on the shores of Lake Victoria. From there, goods, officials, and troops would cross the lake by steamer to Uganda through Port Bell and Entebbe. But from the very beginning, the railway did more than move people and goods. It reshaped the geography of our region. Mombasa was reinforced as the gateway of trade. Machakos, once an administrative center of the British East African Protectorate, was bypassed and declined in significance because it lay off the line. And Nairobi, then a swampy, flood-prone rail depot, established in 1899, rose because it sat on the railway. Nairobi became a logistical hub, then an administrative center, and ultimately the capital of British East Africa. Without the railway, Nairobi, as we know it today, might never have existed. As the line advanced westwards to Nakuru and onward to Kisumu in 1901, it opened the Rift Valley and the Lake region to trade. Kisumu became a vital inland port, linking rail to lake transport and facilitating movement into Mombasa. But the break between rail and water proved slow, costly, and inefficient. And so the railway advanced again. Beginning in 1920, it was extended inland from Nakuru across the then so-called White Islands, reaching Eldoret in 1924, and then onward through Malaba to Tororo and Jinja, and finally to Kampala in 1931. In so doing, it became a continuous artery into the heart of the East African region. That extension reshaped our region. Eldoret emerged as an agricultural powerhouse. Jinja became an industrial center. Kampala, already the political seat of Buganda Kingdom, was elevated into a stronger administrative and commercial capital, and its influence amplified by direct access to the coast. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the lesson of history. That infrastructure development does not just connect places, it often creates them. It determines where opportunity thrives, where investment flows, and where prosperity takes root. Unfortunately, the 130-year-old meter gauge railway line that was once a lifeline of regional commerce was neglected and gradually fell into disrepair, losing both its vitality and transformative impact. Yet, even in decline, the vision of connectivity never faded. In 2008, it is in this enduring vision that brought together the late President Mwai Kibaki and His Excellency President Yoweri Museveni, who jointly laid the foundation for a modern high-capacity railway, one that would link Mombasa to Kampala with strategic branches to Kisumu in Kenya and Pakwach in Uganda. Additionally, the presidents of Kenya, Uganda, and Rwanda not only pronounced themselves on the plan to extend the standard gauge railway to Kampala, Kigali, and Juba, but also signed the SGR protocol and tripartite agreement to ensure development and management of a seamless railway system. It is therefore most fitting that our elder statesman, President Museveni, is here with us today to witness this vision taking shape. Thank you, Mzee, for your leadership, your vision, and your steadfast commitment to the unity and integration of our region. Building on that foundation, Kenya took decisive steps in 2014 by breaking ground on Phase 1A of the SGR, stretching 472 kilometers from Mombasa to Nairobi. This was later extended inland to Suswa in Narok, covering an additional 120 kilometers, further advancing the corridor towards the region's hinterland. 2 days ago, we broke ground for the extension of the SGR from Narok to Kisumu, a distance of 264 kilometers that forms Phase 2B of this railway network. That line will connect our industrial corridor in Nairobi to the agricultural heartlands of Narok, Bomet, Kericho, and Nyamira, and ultimately to Kisumu. Today, here at Kibos in Kisumu, we take yet another decisive and consequential step. We break ground on the 107-kilometer Kisumu-Malaba section of the SGR, complete nearly 1,000 kilometers seamless rail link from Mombasa to Malaba and forming a vital connection to the Malaba-Kampala line. Beyond Kenya and Uganda, this railway line will serve our partner states in the region, including Rwanda, Burundi, South Sudan, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and the Central African Republic. It is a powerful statement of regional integration, partnership, and shared ambition. Ladies and gentlemen, our region faces a clear and urgent challenge. Our economies are not generating sufficient opportunities to match the pace of our rapidly growing populations. At the same time, our businesses continue to grapple with high logistics costs that undermine competitiveness. In many cases, transport and related costs account for between 30 and 40% of the final value of goods. Cargo takes an average of 80 hours to move from Mombasa to Malaba and more than 100 hours to reach Kampala. We cannot build prosperity on inefficiency. That is why we must invest in modern, efficient transport and connectivity systems, not only as transport, but also as economic hubs. Along this Mombasa-Malaba corridor, we will promote the development of industrial parks, logistics hubs, and commercial centers driven by private sector investment and anchored in regional trade. Right here in Kibos, there will be a special economic zone connected to this SGR. In Busia, there will be another special economic zone connected to this SGR. This is a proven model, one that has delivered rapid transformation by aligning infrastructure with industry, trade, and investment. And we have already seen what this investment can deliver. Over the past 8 years, the SGR has transported more than 15 million passengers, and over 45 million tons of freight. It has reduced transport costs, improved efficiency, and contributed significantly to growth of our economy. With this expansion, we expect even greater impact. Freight costs are projected to decline by at least 40% a ton for every kilometer, while transit times for freight will reduce by nearly 30%. The share of cargo moved by rail will increase, easing pressure on our roads and reducing wear and tear. But beyond the numbers lies something even greater. This railway will connect farmers to markets. It will move livestock and farm produce from our hinterland to Nairobi and onward to Mombasa for export. Tea from Western Kenya, Kericho, and other towns, dairy from Bomet and other regions in Narok, grains from Rift Valley, and of course fish from Lake Victoria will reach markets faster and much more efficiently. It will power industrial growth along the corridor from Nairobi to Naivasha to Kisumu and beyond. Enable businesses to access inputs more efficiently and affordably and reaching wider markets. It will create opportunities for our young people across construction, logistics, manufacturing, and services sectors, giving them a stake in the growth of our region. Above all, this railway will bring life to our long-held aspiration for true regional integration, for which Your Excellency President Museveni, as the chair of our East African Community region now, I promise and pledge to work with you as the champion of integration in our continent, that the vision of an East Africa that is integrated, that is united and works together becomes a reality in this generation. It will enable the seamless movement of people and goods from Mombasa through Nairobi across Kenya's hinterland and onward to Kampala, to DRC, to Rwanda, to Burundi, to South Sudan, transforming journeys that once took days into trips in hours. Ladies and gentlemen, if the railway of the past century shaped the character of our region, then the railway we build today must define its future. Some 100 years from now, when future generations look back on this moment, let them see it as a turning point, the moment when we laid the foundation for their prosperity, strengthening the bonds of regional integration, and setting in motion a new era of growth, of dignity, and shared opportunity for our region, our countries, and our continent. Let me say this in conclusion. I remember very well when our late Prime Minister Raila Odinga was appointed the Africa Union High Representative on matters infrastructure. One of the most consequential suggestions that he made is the connection of the East African region to the West African region, using this very route through Kenya to Uganda to DRC to Congo Brazzaville, all the way to the Atlantic Ocean on the other side. I am confident that wherever he is proud of this moment, that finally what he envisioned as representative of the AU of connecting our region is finally underway right here in Kisumu, onward to Uganda. And I am informed by President Museveni that the section from Malaba to Kampala is already awarded and is underway, and finally it will be connected from Kampala to Kasese in the DRC border. Your Excellency, This is a very proud moment for us as Kenya, as we see this infrastructural development that is not just a rail, it is a commercial lifeline, it is a logistics hub, and it is a regional investment that is going to transform the business environment, is going to transform the fortunes of our farmers, of our producers, of our industrialists, of our business people, and create wealth in our region. Kwa watu wa Kisumu na watu wa sehemu hii, vile kiongozi wetu wa ODM alivyosema, mpango wa kusukuma hii reli kutoka pale Naivasha, mnajua tulielezwa ya kwamba na wengine wachache wakasema ile reli imekuwa reli to nowhere. We are now telling them it was never a railway to nowhere. It was always our plan that this railway was going to be a railway to prosperity. It was going to be a railway to the transformation of the Republic of Kenya. And the naysayers, the people who don't believe in the transformation of Kenya, we want to persuade them that it may take a little while. It may have delayed a bit in Narok, but today we are making sure that this transport corridor, this logistics corridor, is going to transform not just the East African community, but it is going to position Kenya, Mombasa, and the East African region as a region for economic transformation. Let me also say, while right here in Kisumu, that here in Kibos, we are going to set aside 1,000 acres to build a special economic zone that is going to be connected to this SGR. It is a program that we have worked with and we have worked on. And as I have said, I was a few days in the county of Busia, and the people of Busia equally informed me that they would want this railway to be connected to Busia town, and I did commit to them that the special economic zone in Busia is going to be connected to the Standard Gauge Railway as we transform the economy of the East African region. The governor of Busia is right here, and he knows the request of the people of Busia when I was there a few days ago. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not the only piece of infrastructure that we are undertaking in Kenya. We are at the moment constructing 6,000 kilometers of new tarmac in different places in Kenya. This evening, I will be launching such one road in Holo to Alela as part of connecting Kenya. We are also undertaking transformation in our electricity generation and distribution. We are also undertaking the transformation of our education sector, hiring more teachers, funding more students, building more classrooms, and aligning our education with the needs of the 21st century. We are also reforming and transforming our health delivery systems to make them much more robust, include more citizens, and universalize access to health as is required of us by our Constitution. The transformation of Kenya is underway in many areas, as has been acknowledged by even those who don't agree with us. The railway is now underway. The Mau Summit Rironi Road is underway. The Jomo Kenyatta International Airport shortly will be underway. We have concluded the building of Talanta. We are on course building a new modern conference facility at Bomas of Kenya. and on and on and on. Even the naysayers, even those who never believed in what we are doing, those who said nothing was happening, today they confess with their own mouths that indeed Kenya is undergoing transformation.